Hi class, and welcome to the second week of HSA 4124. So this video I'll be briefly going over the topics we're covering this week as well as the materials and links provided to you in this week's content folder. So this week you're responsible for reading the chapter titled The 8-Factor Model for Evaluating True Access. And of course we are talking about access to healthcare services. You also have a quiz that's due this week, and the quiz will be open from Monday, May 23rd, all the way through May 29th. It is a multiple choice quiz, and it will be covering chapters 1 through 3. Now I'm going to scroll through this week's content folder and just briefly go over the links and materials provided to you for this week. So let's get started here. First, as you can see in red, is the link for the quiz. Below that is a PowerPoint presentation that highlights the assigned reading for this week. And then I have two very short readings, one on disease management, and below that, globalization of health systems, that I'd like you to read. Now I'm going to go over some of the videos that I've included in this week's content folder that touch on the topics that are covered in the assigned chapter for this week. So the first video here is titled Global Disease Detectives in Kibera, Nairobi, Kenya. And it is a very interesting video. It was produced by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And it highlights the importance of maintaining surveillance indicators to prevent the spread of infectious diseases, especially in densely populated areas like urban slums where sanitation is an issue and, of course, a contributor to emerging diseases. All right, so let me scroll a little further down. Here's another video that compares healthcare systems between countries. And another video here, which is titled Improving Access to Healthcare, Too Big to Solve Alone. And the video is pretty much covers that. It talks about the importance of healthcare systems, global health organizations like the World Health Organization. Everybody needs to collaborate and work together in order to increase the access to healthcare services, especially for people in developing countries. Now, the last video I have in this week's content folder is an instructional video on how to take a quiz or an exam in Blackboard. So this may be helpful for those of you that are new to the Blackboard learning system, or you might be new to the virtual classroom. Of course, if you have any questions at all, be sure to let me know. Last but not least, I have the weekly checklist for you guys. Make sure you've completed everything on this checklist before going to the following week. Take care, everyone. Bye.